Here in the Hoosier State, county prosecutors and police say more and more vigilante groups are trying to expose child predators online.
Yeah, but as 21 Alive's Taylor Williams has learned, there is some pushback against their tactics and concerns about safety.
These vigilantes aren't hiding behind a mask. They are disguising themselves as teenage girls looking to expose predators online and on social media. While the group's intentions may be good, law enforcement advises against taking the law into your own hands.
We need them to stay here as long as possible until law enforcement arrives.
Video from a Facebook Live posted by a vigilante group. It was taken in Huntington County in April. It shows a man being put into handcuffs by police, a man who was later charged with child solicitation.
I mean, you definitely should be worried about who you're talking to online.
This is the vigilante who shot and posted the video. He goes by Boots and says he wouldn't give us his real name for safety reasons. Boots is the president of a nonprofit called Bikers Against Predators. He says the group's mission is to catch and expose online child predators. It's an issue that hits close to home.
We had a case with one of our family members that was a victim of an online child predator. As a father and a community, we felt that there wasn't a lot done in this case. And not so much because law enforcement wasn't taking the proper steps. It's just that these cases are kind of hard to find who they're talking to.
Here's how it works. Members of the group will pose as teenage girls creating social media and dating profiles. Then they wait.
We wait for them to lead those conversations sexual. Once they do, and then they ask if we'd like to meet. The only difference is it's us there and not a real minor.
When they meet, Boots live streams the interactions on Facebook Live while another member calls the police. Boots says they use burner phones, then hand over all of the text and video to police. Over the past 2 years, the group says they have caught 218 men and one woman looking to meet minors online for sex. Out of the last 10 men shown on the group's Facebook page, 6 have been charged with some level of child solicitation. 3 are still waiting to see if charges will be filed. And 1 man wasn't charged at all. Boots says they are looking to expand operations, as he says more county prosecutors are taking their cases. But is what they're doing legal? Jody Madeira, a professor of law at Indiana University, says yes.
Call these types of groups vigilante groups, vigilante investigations. And the concern is really there's no laws that prohibit this type of activity. The concern is really that the evidence may not stand up in court because it could be second or third hand. It could create potential wiggle room for defense lawyers.
Allen County Prosecutor Mike McAlexander has prosecuted cases brought to his office by groups like Bikers Against Predators. However, he says his preference is to let law enforcement do its job.
We'd hate to have a situation where somebody got seriously hurt or even killed during one of these confrontations. So again, you kind of have to pick what your real goal is. Do you want criminal prosecutions, or do you want to make a splash on Facebook?
McAlexander says they consider a lot of factors when deciding whether or not to move forward with a case.
We want citizen cooperation, but we have to follow the rules. And I think sometimes when people do this, they have unrealistic expectations of how the system will do it. And it's not because we don't want to go after the bad guy, it's that we have to do it right. If we don't do it right and there's an appeal, it gets sent back to us.
Indiana State Police agree, warning against vigilante groups taking cases into their own hands. In a statement to 21 Alive News, Indiana State Police said, quote, "We ask the general public not to take the law into their own hands and call local law enforcement," end quote. Boots argues his group is careful, and they've developed tactics to make for solid cases.
I would want to know, and I feel that same thing would happen to anybody in the community, and it does. It happens every time we catch somebody. That's my brother, that's my neighbor, that's my boss, and these people will have access to your children.